Hey, and welcome to Hack My Growth. In today's episode, we're going to be talking about the anatomy of an optimized website page or blog post. Now, optimizing your site for search is essential to being found by people looking for the information that you're providing. All right, let's go. Hey, thanks so much for joining us. And if this is your first time, or maybe you've been watching a while and haven't yet subscribed, I want to invite you to do so. We publish a new video every single week, giving you insights on how to grow your business online using the same strategies that big companies are using to hack their growth. So today we're going to be talking about search engine optimization, and more specifically, technical aspects of SEO and how do we optimize our pages for search and for our users. Now that's a really important thing to make sure we're doing when we're optimizing our site, that we're optimizing it for both groups, both the search engines and the users. Our content's extremely important, but if it's not optimized, it's not going to rank and it's also not going to convert. So when we're talking about a web page, a website page can really be broken down into three areas. We've got our head, our body, and our footer. Now your head is a very important part of the page. Inside that header bracket, you're gonna have things like your title tags. You're gonna have your open graph tag, which actually helps optimize your site for social sharing and social links, making sure you have the right kind of images and really the description that you want to show up in Facebook and Twitter and Google Plus and those other platforms. You're also going to have your meta information inside your header. This is where you're going to add your description, maybe your keywords if you want to use those. But it's also where you're going to add some other scripts as well, like your Google Analytics tracking script is also going to be found inside the head of your website page. Now moving down is our body. And this is where most of the content is placed, right? This is where people are interacting with your blog post or your web content. And here's where you want to optimize your page more than other places. And there's a lot of different things that we can do to optimize inside of that body. So we've got content, we've got multimedia, so we've got images, but we've also got videos, other pieces of content that we can optimize. We've got links. Now that includes both links internally to other pages of your site, as well as adding some of those outbound links to other sites. And now you may seem like, what? I don't want to send people to other pages, but there's actually a trick to using outbound links, and it's really important to use them, and we'll get into those in just a minute. You also want to add, your markup here. This is where you can use schema markup, whether you're marking up text or content. We like to use JSON LD. It's just a little bit more descriptive, and it's easier to implement. You can add it into your page and drop it, and it's specifically for the search crawlers to better understand the context of the information you're giving them. There's a couple cool tools, and I'll make sure to link to a tool that allow you to create that markup that you can just copy and paste into the code of your body. And then finally, we've got the footer. And in the footer is typically, some links and maybe some more information about your site, maybe a location of your sitemap privacy policy. But you're also going to have your Java script typically load in your footer if you've got a lot of Java going on. Now, anything that's essential to users coming to your site, you want to load at the top. But some of those other, parts of your JavaScript that maybe aren't that essential to your initial load should be put in the footer of your page so that your page loads faster. Speed, load time is extremely important. If people gotta wait, they're not gonna stick around. If a searcher crawler's gotta continue to ping your site and it's not getting the information it needs, it's gonna leave and not crawl the rest of your site because it's too slow. So you wanna make sure that you're optimized for speed as well. All right, so let's take a little bit of a deeper dive into a website page. So we've sketched one out here, kind of top to bottom, and that's how a crawler is gonna be reading your site from top to bottom. Now, up here and in the kind of the top of the bar, you're gonna see the title tag of your site. And this is what's gonna be in that title bracket. Now, when you're optimizing a title, use your keyword, use your main keyword that you're really trying to focus on. If you wanna add your brand, that's fine, but just add it to the end of your title tag. Right underneath that, we've got our URL. Now, we want to make sure that our URL is descriptive, but also short. Now, a lot of people have these really long URLs because they're trying to add keywords, or maybe they're just not thinking about it, and they're just having their title tag be their URL string. Well, that's bad for a couple reasons. One, it's really hard to share. Somebody just wants to say, hey, go to www.mysite.com/SEO to check out this information. Well, if you've got, /SEO tools from an SEO agency, that's just, it's not easy to share, it's not easy to say, it's kind of annoying. Another reason is the crawlers like and prefer shortened URLs. So shortened URLs typically rank better, and there's a number of case studies that have proven that. Now, as we come down a little bit, you've got your navigation. One of the things that's really helpful from a user perspective in optimization, not typically, it's not necessarily going to give you a lot of brownie points with the crawlers, although it also helps them, is adding some breadcrumbs to your top, maybe home / the page you're on. And what that does, it allows the user to know where they're at on your website. and where they can go to find other relevant information, but it actually is helpful for the crawlers a little bit too, because it shows the contextuality of this page and how it's related to your navigation and your site flow in general. So that's not, going to make a huge difference, but it is helpful to your users. Now, right below that, we've got our page title. Now, typically, a page title is wrapped in an H1 tag. Now, if you're using H2, H3, whatever is the top header tag that you have is what's going to really have that prominence. So if you don't have an H1, it's really not that bad as long as you have an H2. Now, you want to make sure that in that H1 tag that you're complementing what you've titled the page. This means you want to have contextually appropriate keywords inside of that header tag. You want to be descriptive. You want to tell the user exactly what the page is about. Again, just like the user, the crawler is going to read your page left to right, top to bottom. They're going to be looking at that information inside of there and saying, yes, this is the page I was looking for. Now, dropping down into the content, we want to make sure that we are using our keywords, but not just the same keyword over and over and over again. In the years past, you may have heard of terms like keyword density. Now, keyword density was never something that Google actually used to understand the context of a page. It was something that we used to kind of give us an idea of how frequently we should be using a term. What Google and the other search engines use is actually something called TF-IDF, which is term frequency inverse document frequency. And it's something that's involved in natural language processing, which helps a computer understand the context of a page. Now, we're not going to go super deep into it, but what you want to make sure is that you have your keyword in your page. You also want to have contextually appropriate terms, what we talked about in another video, which was latent semantic indexing terms, LSI keywords, which is contextually related keywords. Now, I hope all these big terms aren't scaring you. You just want to have terms that are related, like SEO, search engine optimization, search marketing, those type of terms that are kind of related, blogging, content marketing. They're all in that realm of kind of digital marketing. It's going to add that context to the page, and whatever that is in your industry, that's what you want to do. You don't want to stuff it. You want it to sound natural. You want it to be informative. You want to have quality content, but make sure that you're using the terms that you want to be known for and want to be found for. Now, that's what we talked about a little bit here. We'll get a little bit deeper into some other posts with TF-IDF. It's a really powerful thing. It's really cool, and there's some tools out there that will help you understand what type of words should I be using in my content. But the key is, and this is something I really want to stress, is write for the user first. Write for your audience first. Then come back and optimize that page or that article for the search engines as well. You want it to be natural. One of the worst things you can do is really just try to stuff keywords in there and create content that's not even interesting to read because you've clearly written it for not a human audience, but more of a computer audience. So make sure that you're doing that inside of your keywords, inside of your content. Now, over here, we want to have, multimedia, right? So maybe we got an image or a video. If it's an image, you want to have alt tag. You want to make sure that you're being descriptive. What is that image about? Now, search engines are trying to understand the content inside images, which is great, but they can't fully do that yet, but we want to help them. We want to make sure that maybe this, image can rank in the image search. So keyword descriptive alt tag, keyword descriptive title tag. You even want to optimize your file name. So whatever that image is called is spelled, www image, seoblog.jpg. Give an idea of what that image actually is inside of that file type. That's really going to help. You also want to make sure that the image is not too big, that it loads quickly. That's the appropriate size for your web page. Don't just load an 8,000 by 8,000 pixel image into your site. It's going to be slow. The server's going to have to compress that image in order to fit. Just because you scaled it down using HTML doesn't mean you actually compress the file. Make sure it's the right size, the size that you want it to fit inside of your page. Now, as we move down, you're going to have H2 or H3 or other header tags. Make sure that those are complementing the page. Again, we're using those LSI terms, those contextual terms as we move down the page. Now, you want to make sure that you're internally linking as well. Make sure that you're linking to other pages on your site that are relevant to the content here. One, that helps the user find more relevant content. Two, it helps the crawlers understand the context, because now it's going to crawl those pages in here. It's going to say, oh, okay, this page must be related to this page. They're all kind of working together. Now, in a blog post, we typically like to link back to what we call core pages or anchor pages or pillar pages, whatever those pages that really are delivering your service or your options to. You want to use your blog to kind of direct people back to those. Now, you don't want to do this absurdly, maybe 2 to 3 at the most. Don't overdo it. Link when it's appropriate. Make sure that it's natural. Again, that's the key. Be natural. Don't try to be natural or appear to be natural, but actually be natural. It's a powerful thing, believe it or not. Now, as we move down, we have an external link. So we want to be using external links, especially if we're citing other people. One, is the right thing to do because you need to give credit for other people's ideas. You want to make sure that you're not, just taking something as your own. Everybody out there, that's giving you information, maybe you're using stats or quotes or an idea, make sure you cite them. Here's the other reason for that. It's going to improve your expertise, your authority, and your trustworthiness. Now, those are three things that are core at Google Search Quality Guidelines. And those are user guidelines, human beings who are looking at it, but the crawlers are looking at that too. So maybe you're new in the industry, but you've got a lot of knowledge and you want to share that knowledge, but Google doesn't quite yet trust you because you're new. You have a new domain. They don't really know if they can take you serious. Well, if you're citing credible people in websites that are credible sources, they're going to use that and say, here's what this guy said. Okay, he's citing this guy who we know is a credible source in the industry. Here's what he says. Yes, it lines up. This guy must not be a fake. So that's going to add some value to your content. It's going to show Google that, hey, this guy's not full of it. So external links are extremely important. Put them in your site. Now, you want to use a target blank in your link, or some places just allow you to say open a new tab. That way you're not having people leave your site completely, but they're just going to that other page to see where you're pulling that resource from. Finally, what we want to do at the end of our page, whether it's a blog page or another page, we want to have a call to action or a next step. Where do people go after they've had this interaction with you, after they've read through your content, they've understood what you've been talking about? What's the next step? You get to direct them, you get to help them and show them where they should make their next move. This is why call to actions are important. Don't make them absurd. Don't always try to sell people. Just help them along their journey. We want to make sure that this journey is, really targeted, focused, and leads to the end that we want them to have. Again, we've got our footer here. We talked a little bit about the footer before, but these are kind of the core elements to really optimizing your pages, optimizing your blog posts, and making sure that you're telling people the right information, you're helping them get connected in the story, that you're improving your trustworthiness as a blogger, as a site owner. Start doing these things consistently. You're going to see a major impact on both your search rankings and your site engagement. Hope you guys learned something this week on Hack My Growth. If you got questions, please contact us below. And if you liked the video, hit subscribe. We'd love to have you as part of our community here. Until next time, happy marketing.
Hack my